I am disappointed in CD Projekt Red for releasing Cyberpunk 2077 in what is clearly an unfinished state. Even now, on December 13th, 2020, which is when I'm recording this, they have released a hotfix, but the damage is done. And full disclosure, I have not played the game, and for all the reasons I'm about to explain, this is why. First impressions are important, and my first impression of the game is that this needed a lot more time to clean up and make sure the game runs properly. This is why you don't pre order video games. It doesn't matter who the company is, or what trust they have built, or how consumer friendly they are. Every product should be judged on its own merits, not what you expect from the company based on previous products or because the trailer looks good, even gameplay that is released. The 48-minute gameplay footage that CDPR put out a year or two ago was chef's kiss, spotless, bug free, no problems at all. And that has not been the case for a lot of people. Many people have run the game just fine, but enough people haven't that it's concerning. I can only speak for myself, but just because a company put out games that I like in the past doesn't mean future games are an automatic buy or pre order. I like the Mass Effect trilogy, which is not to say it had no bugs. Regardless, I was excited for Mass Effect, but then Andromeda happened. Watch Dogs. Look at Watch Dogs. That game did not look as advertised. Look at No Man's Sky, which was hyped up by the developer as having all of these features in the game that weren't there. The game was empty, it had nothing to do, and people were disappointed. But back to Cyberpunk. CDPR would not allow base PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions to show gameplay for review purposes before the game released. And now we know why. Those versions were broken and downright unplayable when the game came out. That's not okay. And don't blame customers who bought the game on those systems saying, well, they shouldn't have purchased those versions of the game. They have the right to expect the game to run properly. In fact, the game was announced for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One first. And then the PC is its own beast because different people have different builds, they're using different parts. And when you're a developer, putting out a game on PC, you have to account that some people will have older systems. The game still has to run on those systems. Look, here we are on the GOG page for Cyberpunk, and if we scroll down and we take a look at the minimum system requirements, I'm going to have to zoom in a bit. Yeah, that's good. Now you can definitely see this. Here's the minimum system requirements, okay? First, you have Windows 7 here. That's an 11-year-old operating system. This Intel CPU, that's an 8-year-old CPU. And the AMD is a 6-year-old CPU. The GTX 780, that's a 7-year-old card. The Radeon RX 470, that's a 4-year-old card. The PlayStation 4 came out in 2013, 7-year-old tech. Ditto for Xbox One. If a company is going to advertise that the game can run, presumably at an acceptable and playable level, which it should be, on this older hardware, make sure that it does at release, not later, period. By the way, I don't accept this thing that people do now that's like, just get the game out as soon as possible and then fix it later. And before you say that companies are beholden to investors and stockholders, that is also a problem. How do you fix that? I have no idea. But it is a problem that they can demand that a game come out so they can get their payment because it results in Cyberpunk 2077 at release. What it appears they did, and I'm speculating here, is focus on the new gen version and then try to go backwards to make the game work on last gen consoles, even though the game was originally announced and being developed for last gen, which didn't work out well, and anybody could have told you that it wouldn't. And look, it's okay to look forward to games, but don't overhype yourself. Stop trusting these companies so much. Stop pre ordering games. And the last thing I want to leave you with is this: when CDPR does eventually announce and start talking about their next game, which I know, Cyberpunk just came out days ago, but that day will come when they talk about their next game and you see a trailer, maybe some gameplay. Are you going to be all hyped up? This applies to any game, by the way. Are you going to pre order, buy it day one, or are you going to be smart? Wait for reviews, wait a few days, wait a week. You can buy games on Steam, GOG, and wherever else that are 5, 10, 20 years old and older. The game isn't going anywhere. What's the rush? Wait and make sure that it's all good. Smooth sailing. Think about that. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.